So welcome to this video tutorial. We will be making introduction to basic bodies. So in this tutorial, we'll be learning how to make a basic bodies. We'll be learning how to make basic bodies. Like we said, the video is going to be beginners friendly. So I'll be starting in total. Many of us might have been familiar with this, but let's continue. So this is my paper. So either you're going to use a paper or your fabric directly. You fold in twos. You fold in twos for the front, then in twos for the back. Then I'm going to be using a measurement of a 7 months old. But this neckline that we'll be using can be applied for 1 year as well. And it can even be applied for a 3 months old child too. So let's take note of the neckline used, because among the disadvantages of some outfits is the neckline always folding, the neckline always being too wide that it doesn't relax and balance well on the little child's outfits. So let's start with the half length. I'll be adding half length plus sewing allowance, so I'll be using 8 inches for the length, for the half length 8 inches. So that is what I'm marking. Now for this folding, I divided the waist 20. 20 divided by 4 gives 10. So I folded this front 10 plus 1.5 inch of allowance each. So that's how I got this folding. So for us to fold, you divide by 4, then you add whatever allowance you want to add. The 1.5 is actually much too. You can use 1, it's up to you. So now let's move to the neckline. For the neckline, I'm marking 1.75. Please take note, the width is 1.75 and then the depth is 2 inches. You can write it down somewhere, or you mark it somewhere, you keep cross checking. The width is 1.75 and the depth is 2. Remember, we normally talk about standard of an adult, which is 3 by 3, 3 by 3. It doesn't apply to this little one. And then their back is 4. That is the shoulder. Now I'll be coming down. I'll be descending it by 1/2 inch. We call it shoulder slope. Which you can see from the video. I descended by 1/2 inch. You'll be seeing how I connect it. Yes. So from that 1.75, which I marked for the neckline, to the shoulder measurement, I slanted it by 1/2 inch. It's called shoulder slope. Once you've done that, we want to go ahead to mark the armhole, where the armhole will stop exactly. Now for this little one, I'm using 4, because it is one thing to sew an outfit and it is one thing for the armhole region to be too tight or for it to be too big. Now this 4.5 is going to be the perfect measurement that would work for a child of 0 months to 1 year. It's not going to be tight and it's not going to be too loose on the little one. So I'll be getting my armhole now by using my curve, if you have a curve. And if you do not have a curve, I'll always suggest you try and get a curve, because it gives us a perfect result while drafting our armhole and our neck region. So I went in a little bit for this part, I went in a little bit for the armhole. Then I'm trying to cross check the chest and the waist measurements if they're in total. That is 5, since it's 20. Yes, so this is what you'll be having. This is the main cloth. So the extra 1.5 inches of allowance is the sewing allowance. So do not forget, you fold by 2. Your neckline 1.75 by 2 inches. To get the shoulder slope, you go in by 1/2 inch. The shoulder slope is going to help the cloth to balance a little bit on the baby or on the child. It's not going to allow the arm, the neck, the hand side to puff out, to make it relax. So once you've done that, you go ahead to cut. All you just have to do is to cross check your measurements if it is in total and if it is balanced. You go ahead to cut it out. Then you repeat the same thing for the back. You repeat the same thing for the back. So I'm just going to be placing it on a plain paper. I'll make sure I get my zipper allowance. Always take note. Make sure you get your zipper allowance. I'll be using 1 inch as you saw me do. I'll be using 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So I'm just going to cut it directly as you are seeing, and that's so. So either you want to cut it directly on your cloth or on paper. This is what you'll be doing. This is what you'll be doing. Now for the neckline, you can descend by 1 inch. 1 inch. If there is no style line that you're trying to follow. But if you're trying to follow a style line, that is, you want the neckline to have V, you want it to be deep or thereabouts, you will not work with 1 inch. You have to descend it. But if it's just a normal neckline for the back, the 1 inch is very perfect. So this is how to cut basic bodice for the beginners in class. I hope you understand how to do this perfectly after watching this video. Now, we want to alterate this basic bodice to a lacing bar. Remember from the poster, it shows that we'll be learning how to make an outfit with lacing bra properly. So what are we going to do? My zipper allowance normally is 1 inch, as you can see, and the difference in the back that I want is just 2 inches. 2 inches, that is, I'm going to be cutting out 1 inch for the back and 1 inch for the left hand side and 1 inch for the right hand side. So since it's on paper, once I cut just one, it will reflect as 2 inches once they are combined together. But looking at it, you will see me that I'm marking 2 inches directly. My reason is because I want to cut out the 1 inch off of the zip allowance, then the extra 1 inch off for the spacing of the lacing bar. So that is why I'm having 2. Can you see? Now, after doing this, the neckline is a little bit small now. You see? So what some persons do, depends on what you want to work with, is you can slant it. You see where my pencil is? You can decide to slant it to the 2 inches, or you can decide to bring the neckline down. I decided to bring my neckline down so that after tying it on the child, I will still achieve the normal back that I wanted. So whatever way you want it is fine. So I brought the neckline down because of the lacing bar. Can you see? Can you see? And then this is me folding the zip allowance so we can understand the number of inches that we took out. So this is just how to do it. However you want to do your back with these basics, you can play around it as however you want to do your style line. If you want to put a V, if you want it to curve, or you still want at least a shape of a neckline to come out. So I'm cutting it out now. Since I still want the shape of my neckline to come out, along the line you see the final process and understand more what I mean. Now, after cutting it, I'll be using my fabric. It's the doll face that I'll be using. So whatever fabric or choice that your client wants for the upper part is what you'll be using. Now, if you notice while cutting for the zipper part, I left an allowance. Yes, I left half an inch in for just to added half an inch. Using for this half an inch, please make sure you cut it half an inch so that after sewing, I achieve my exact shape. Now, cut lining. I'll be using the main cloth for the lining as well. Now, this is put the allowance. You wouldn't have the 2 inches anyway. it will end up being wider. Now I've gone ahead to cut my front too. As you can see,
This is also the
I
front.
maintained the neckline. Can
This
you
is how
see
the front
with the
looks
paper
like.
and the
This is
fabric?
how
I
the back
maintained the
looks like.
neckline
So I'm going to go
and I
ahead to cut
maintained
it
the
to
armholes
cut
too.
the lining. I'm using the
So
cloth, and then we'll
I'll
also go
be
ahead to
cutting
cut
my
the
lining.
bodice.
I'll be using doll face for the lining too. I always suggest doll face for the lining. So I went ahead to cut it. Then I interfaced with stay. I interfaced with stay. Interfacing with stay gives your client's outfits generally a very it makes it nice. So that is the stay that I just showed us. So I ironed it to just one side because as a child, um they might still be in we might still back then with the outfit and the heat might be so much. I end it with just one. But if they're like from 3 4 years, I can decide to iron it in both the lining and the main cloth itself. Now you can see I've arranged the two back. Can you see the spacing that we'll have? So this is what you'd get. Now I'm trying to arrange my lacing bar. I'm trying to connect my lacing bar. That is the place that the lacing bar is called the place that the rope is going to be, where the rope will be connected to. So I first went 1/2 inch for the sewing of the neckline. I marked it out. Then I'm also marking out 1/2 inch for the joining so that I'll know what I have left. So this is 5 inches. This is 5 inches. So these 5 inches will be divided into 5 different places. So 5 inches divided by 5 will have one. So I'll be giving it a gap of 1 1 inch, as you can see me do. 1 1 inch for the lacing bar. That is, um I'm going to be using 3 bias or rope because it's the fabric I'll use to cut it out. So this 5 inches is equivalent to 3 spacings that we'll have. So you use this method too for whatever age you want to use. After you've gotten the neckline, after you've gotten the space at which you join the half length cut, you divide it, you calculate whatever gap space you want, how many inches you want to give it. You divide what you have, then you mark it out, which I did. You mark it out. So it is under these markings that you would know what you want. This is spacing for at least to 1 year because I want just 1 inch gap. If you're making it for a 7 or 8 years old child, it will definitely not be 3 inches of spacing. It will definitely not be 3 inches of spacing. Three lacing bars rather. That is this the rope itself. But this method will be applied on whatever you want to use it for. So after that, I want to cut out rope that I would the fabric that I'll use as the rope for the lacing bar. So I'm cutting out I think 1.25 because what I need is I need 6 inches. 1.25. So even as it is unfold like this, I will still slit it and open it out. Now, this gives a beauty on its own. Or if you also want to use an eyelet, you would not need this too. Anyone you want to use, either an eyelet for the lacing bar or the fabric itself, the same process of cutting is what will be maintained. So I had gone ahead to sew. Now, after sewing, we'll go ahead to cut. We'll be cutting the inches out, the appropriate inches that will be used for the rope to pass through. Now you can use 2 inches, you can use 2.5 inches. It all depends on how bold you want it. It all depends on how you want the back to look like and how convenient it will be for the little child's mother to pass the thread through. So I'm using 2.5 inches, as you can see. 2.5 inches. If you would want to use 2 inches after watching this video, you can go ahead to use 2 inches. But if you decide to use anything lesser, it will not be comfortable, it will not be convenient to pass the thread, the rope through. So that is why I'll suggest 2 inches or 2.5 inches. So the lines that we marked with my pencil is what we'll be following. It will work as a guide for us to sew the lacing, the rope to it. Now, while sewing lacing bars is always very technical. Did you see my folding? Is always not applied to fold this way. This is a wrong method of folding, either for an adult or for a child. This is what you do. You allow the sewing parts for the under to face the folding parts for the up. Please watch carefully. Please, you can let me know in the question and answer if you took notes of my folding. I'll be showing it in all parts of the video from the first to the sixth part so we can understand it. So please take notes. I won't be talking here, just be taking note of the folding from here. Now you can zoom in the sewn part to the sewn part, the sewn part to the sewn part, so you can achieve this look. So you can achieve this look while putting the doll face for the rope. Now, amongst the thing I also like is precision. So the same way I did the left hand side, I want to do the same thing for the other side. So I'm making sure they will be in total, there won't be a mistake. Take note of the folding again, please. So while you are making yours, you check this to confirm if that is how it's going to look like. Now, this is an inseam finishing. This is an inseam finishing. So after doing that, you join the shoulders for the main cloth and the shoulders for the lining. This is not the finishing where we'll join the neck, then we'll turn out the lining. No. For inseam finishing, just make sure you join the shoulders together. That's all. Now, for the sake of beginners too, while you are sewing, whatever inches you used for the sewing allowance is always what is advised to use while sewing it out. That is half an inch. If it's half an inch, half an inch, half an inch, you're adding for the sewing allowance, you repeat the same thing. Half an inch. The neck looks small in the video. That is how it usually is. Do not be tempted to reduce the neckline at some point. So now I've joined the both lining and the cloth half an inch. So the next is for you to place them together and connect. So I've placed them together and I've pinned it down. Please, are we following to this aspect? I've placed them together, the good side facing each other, and I've pinned them together. Please, after doing that, you'll be sewing the armhole. We'll be sewing the armhole parts and the neckline. and then this back to the side for the lacing. You'll be sewing it down, everything. Now, this sewing the armhole down this way is also because the cloth is sleeveless. It's also because the cloth is sleeveless. If it were to have a sleeves, I want to do the finishing, this exact finishing. eh, it will have been a different method. But because it is sleeveless, we'll be leaving it this way. Then you notch. You always make sure you notch. The notching makes our curves to come out well. The notching will make the curves to come out well and then to relax properly, mostly after ironing it out. So I'm just going to remove my pins now and then return it out to the good face. So I flipped it. Both sides are okay. Both sides are okay. The parts are to be used for the lining and for the cloth. So after turning it out, after flipping it, the good side and the bad side, see what you'll be doing to turn it out now. You push in the small part to pass through the big part. That is, you push in the back to pass through the front. Turning it out small small. It takes patience too. You'll be turning it out gradually. Can you see? Now the same thing will be done. The same thing will be done for the other side. My back part, I'll be pushing it small small through that shoulder part. Can you see? Through that shoulder part, I'll be pushing it gradually through the shoulder part to come to the front. Just keep following the video, and then this is what we have. This is what we have now. I've turned it out. So I'm going to go ahead to iron it before I shape. I'm going to go ahead to give it a good pressing before I shape. So as you can see now, this is how it looks like after pressing it. That is after ironing it. The neckline, check. The armhole, check. The back side for the lacing bar, check. Can you see how it's looking? Yes. So the next is for us to shape it. Please, you have to pay attention to the video. This is more of looking at it. So I took the main parts, I'm holding it together, that is the front, and then the lining, you fold it. Please look at the way I'm holding it out. Can you see the way I flipped it, the way I opened it? So you make sure the armhole part and the armhole part will be equal. You can also pin it if you are not sure if they will be equal. So this is how I will be shaping it. You spread it out, the good side, the lining, then you incorporate the measurement. Now, to be sure that you will achieve a perfect sewing, that is the armhole region, that joining, the part that's going to be a joining, the end at the bodice, you pin together and you start from there. Please, let's watch the video properly, please. Like I said, I'm trying to take my time to explain it little by little. So for some advanced students, this part might not might you might not need, you might be looking that you really don't need that part. But I'm trying to consider the fact that we also have beginners in the class. We also have beginners in the class. So I've pinned it now, I've secured with my pins. Then I'll go ahead to sew it down. Take the measurement at which I wanted to take for, I want to use for the client, or better still, remove the 1.5 inches of allowance that was added. Anyone that will be suitable for you. This is me checking the 1.5 inches because that was the allowance, that was the amount of allowance, that was the inches of allowance we used while drafting it. So I was checking if the joining is equal. The joining is equal, so that means I'm going to trim off. That means I'm going to trim off from the down part a little bit. So take note, I want to shape the second side too. Take note of the same thing that will be used. Can you see the foldings? Can you see the foldings? You open them, you spread it out, and then you shape. You spread it out and then you shape it. I'm also maintaining the 1.5 inches of allowance I used for the left hand side to the right hand side. So once you spread it out to shape, see how it looks, see how it's going to look. You fold it and you turn it out too. You also turn it out. So after doing that, can you see the inner parts? This is the inner parts. The inner part is going to be neat, and then the outer part too is going to be neat. So this is what is called inseam finishing. That's the finishing is inside. Can you see? So this is me just trying to cross check, and then I'll be matching it down. Mind you, this matching down is because this cloth is a rope. A rope will be passing through. It is just the down part that will have a zip. What do I mean? If there was going to be zip all through from the neckline to the down part, you really do not need to match your lining and your main cloth together. In the next video, that is the second video tutorial that we'll be watching, that we're going to see a clearer understanding of what I meant. But for this, you have to match it down. You have to match it down. So after matching it down, it's already neat. I'm going to chalk out. I'm going to notch out rather the center. I'm going to notch out the center. And voila. I believe this is looking very beautiful. This is looking very, very beautiful. The neckline, the armhole, the everything is looking beautiful. So this is how to make an inseam finishing of a basic bodice. You use this method for a child of less than 1 year,